What's up, Adam? How you doing, man? Good to see you.
How much time have you spent reflecting on how last year obviously ended, and now you're here at the Super Bowl?
You know what? I had a lot of time right when everything happened and when I was fired. And, it's tough. It's not easy because you go into a situation like we did in Chicago, and you're so excited. So many great people, coaches, players, fans, everybody. And we all know it didn't end how we wanted it to end. And that's a part of life. There was a lot of experiences in that journey for me that I could have been a lot better in. And it's in the end, we didn't get results that we wanted. And at first, it's really tough, and it's hard because you feel like you let a lot of people down, people that you built a lot of great relationships with. But at the same point in time, in my opinion, you got to be strong enough to pick yourself up, pick your pieces up, learn from your failures, and use it if an opportunity ever comes. And it doesn't, whether it's a position coach, a coordinator, a head coach, use your experiences to help others and use it to help yourself. And I have so much respect for the city of Chicago, for the organization, the people there. A lot of people probably may think different about how I feel about it, and it's not that way. And I know that great things are ahead for them. I have a ton of respect for everybody there, and I'm very, very grateful for that opportunity.
We were talking to Coach Reed at the owners' meetings last year, and he said, ultimately, the ball was kind of more in your court on what you wanted to do and if you wanted to come back on the staff.
Sure.
Kind of an open invitation. Why did you decide to get right back into it instead of maybe taking some time off?
Well, I love football so much, and it sounds easy to say that, but when you're away from it, it's probably good right away for a few months to be away from it. But I know for a fact if I wouldn't have coached, my wife would have wanted me to coach. But you have to use that time when you're away from everything. I mean, because everything shuts down. You're in charge of however many hundreds of people in an organization to in charge of nobody. That's hard. That's not easy. And then you got to figure out, okay, what's next. And so you're able to reflect. And to me, I look back at other coaches in other situations, and I talk to other coaches too, like, how did you handle it? And and then I put it into my own situation. And then the healing process is different for everybody. But for me, knowing I had an opportunity to go back and coach in this organization, to get back into football, and now to be here sitting at the Super Bowl, it's just a credit to Coach Reed, to all the coaches, the organization here, and getting back with these guys. But at the same point in time, a lot of great relationships with people in Chicago, and I'm not losing those.
One of those, I assume, is still Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I know you're your own quarterback coach this year,
Yep.
but how much did you pay attention to what Justin was doing, and what did you think about his season?
No, I absolutely paid attention to him, and I was so proud of the way that he grew this year as a quarterback. A lot of credit to their coaches on what they did with him, the schemes that they put around him, and just the way that he took onto that. And you watch him, like, again, we were a big part of drafting him and getting him to Chicago, and we were all in with Justin, and unfortunately didn't get an opportunity to see where he could get to. But that's a part of this process. That's a part of the NFL. Those guys in Chicago, their coaches there have done a phenomenal job of working with him. He's one hell of a player. He has a very bright future in Chicago, and I'm proud of him, because he's a great kid. He cares immensely about the game. He loves it. He's passionate, and he's going to keep growing.
Those two coaches are obviously in a different situation than you were in the year before, just in terms of the whole direction of the operation.
Yeah.
But when you saw the way that they used him this year,
yeah.
I mean, were there any regrets there at all that there wasn't more of that in your offense?
Well, I'll say this, and I mean, again, you have a plan when you go into this, and again, Ryan Pace, myself, and everybody in our organization, we were all in on drafting Justin, and we all were committed to him, and we had a plan, and obviously it didn't work out for us, but we also had a plan on how to develop him and how to see him grow and, to work to his strengths. And it's hard to do that right away in months and summers and 1 year. In fairness to every quarterback that's in this league, it is hard to do what you think they're going to be in 1 year. It's hard. I don't care what anybody says. Guys need time to develop. And there's plenty of instances across this league of that being true. At the same point in time, it's hard. And it's stressful for these young guys, because they know time is of the essence. But you just got to, again, it didn't work out. with me and with Ryan Pace being a part of this, it's now on to other coaches and Ryan Poles. And again, like we are all in on rooting for Justin. Want nothing but good things for him, and he's a hell of a player.
How did you reset last year?
Say that again?
How did you reset? Did you go to the Bahamas or?
My wife and I went to South Africa. Yeah, we went to South Africa. It was our 20-year anniversary. So once I was fired, it was tough. But at the same point in time, we just got away from everything, and we did a lot of talking. Reflecting on the experiences that I had. Again, I'll say how grateful I was, and again, things didn't end how we wanted it to end. But one thing's for sure, I built a lot of great friendships and memories with a lot of people in that organization, you guys included. And in 2018, no one can ever take that away from us. We had a lot of fun, and it was a great time. It didn't continue, and it didn't end the way we wanted it to. But that's a part of everybody's story. That's a part of my story. Everybody that was a part of their players, coaches, support staff, fans, everybody. And we move on and we learn from it. And as much as people may think that, however they think about me and my feelings towards Chicago, I have great memories and a lot of, wish nothing but the best.
What do you do in South Africa?
Say that again?
What do you do in South Africa? Did you go on?
Well, I'll tell you what, I got some amazing videos of some crazy stuff with the lions and the leopards and the cheetahs and everything. It was wild, but you know what? At that point in time, it was like, okay, it's time to take a couple risks and see and just get away from. We shut it down. We got away from football. My wife and I, again, it was our 20-year anniversary, so it was just time. She deserved that time, and it was probably good for me to be away from everything.
Did you know when you got done that, okay, we're going to get back into football? Was that part of the process?
Yeah, actually, when the day we were flying back was when I decided to join the Kansas City. 2 weeks.
All right, so our journey, your journey, brought us all together. I remember when you got to Chicago. Now that you look back on it and you reflect on that time, how much you miss being in that city?
Yeah, again, to me, that city and the passion that the fans had. One of the things I always remember was when I first got there, other than beat Green Bay, which I didn't do. There's a lot of White Sox fans, there's a lot of Cubs fans, but everybody is Bears fans. That always stuck with me. And so when you go to a game and you see how the fans are and you see how much they're into it and all that fun we had in 2018, you get to a point where, again, 19, 20, we made the playoffs 2 out of the 4 years, didn't end how we wanted it to. But again, we all have different reasons and ways that things go. And that said, my journey has moved on to Kansas City. And I'm very, very fortunate and lucky to be a part of this organization and to be able to coach Patrick, who, again, I was a part of there as before Chicago. But I try to stay as positive as I can, and you guys know how I am. And I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't hurt selfishly for the city, for the players, for the coaches, support staff, etc. in Chicago. But you can't dwell on that. You got to pick yourself up. You got to be better from it. And you got everybody does. They're doing it there in Chicago now, and that's just how life goes.
You were saying this before too, but how much are you learning now? Just being back in it. It seems like you're never really. You're always a student of the game.
Sure.
And it seems like you're learning more from Andy now.
A lot, and the difference is this: is that when I was first in Kansas City for my 5 years, I never looked at how Coach led the team in meetings, practices, etc. as a head coach. Always as a position coach. I go to Chicago for 4 years. I'm a head coach. I'm now back here in this role as a position coach. And every meeting, whether it's a staff meeting, a player meeting, a practice, something that goes on, I now look at it from the head coach's eyes. And again, I'm using that to help me be better. And I failed in a lot of areas, but at the same, I know for a fact it's going to make me stronger. I promise you that. I'm telling you that right now. It's going to make me stronger, and that's okay. But at the same point in time, I have no resentment towards anybody. I love where I'm at right now. I've had so much fun this year, being in that quarterback room, being with the coaching staff in Kansas City, being with the fans in Kansas City, everybody, and again, it's rejuvenating. and I just got to learn from him.
You said something about Justin. I heard you talking glowing remarks about him. Do you ever you see in his future him being one of these at some point?
Without a doubt. I mean, you all saw this year what he can do, and he's going to continue to keep growing. However you want to say it, whatever part of his game, but to do what he did from his rookie year to this past year, it's only going to get better for him. He is wired the right way. He is. I got to see him firsthand how he studies, how he practices, his passion for the game. He hates to lose. He's always been that way. But in this game, and I get to see it every day from the best quarterback in the NFL. I get to see it every day this year with Patrick. Okay, what he doesn't get credit enough with, everybody sees him on the football field, but not enough people here know about how he works from Monday to Saturday, how he studies, how he prepares, how he leads men. It's unbelievable. It's rare. And so, to me, these quarterbacks in this league, when they get that and they click onto that, they're all very talented. But Patrick is just on another level in so many areas, and that's why he is who he is. What's that? Oh, he's good. That's another question.
You mentioned learned a bunch. So like, if you could just bottom line, like one thing that you would do differently going forward that you picked up from Andy now, or just from the whole experience, what would you say?
Well, there's a few things, and I know some decisions that have in those 4 years. There's some decisions that I went through communication-wise. I think that's the biggest thing. One of my greatest strengths, in my opinion, was relationships, open communication, and open honesty with players. And never at any point was I not that, but there was points where I could have been better, and I thought I was good at it, and I wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, I know personal experiences, without getting into the details of how I handle certain situations, that I know I can be better at. And I go back to my interview in Chicago, and I as you're preparing for everything, you go through, say 100 to 200 questions that you prepare for to answer on how you would handle something, right? And this is for all young coaches that are going through it that have never been a head coach. And I said how I would handle it, right? But I never went through that. After 4 years, I could answer all 100 to 200 questions of how it was handled, right or wrong.
Right.
So that's hard. And now I have that in my back pocket, those experiences that I never had in 2018 going into it. And so you're going to fail, you're going to make mistakes. Now I know, at least what I think, and then I get to see it done by Coach Reed on how he does things, and I'm still learning. So I just keep that in the journal. I keep it going, and every day I'm growing. And I think that's, to me, having the mental fortitude to get through, Chicago, the final year. When I say that, it didn't go how we wanted, losing record, not easy. But that's a part of it, man, and you got to be able to bounce back.
I wonder, with the Justin part of it, do you almost sort of regret putting him out there in week 3 when you look back at it?
Well, so that situation, again, there's so many things that can go on. Take care. Andy got hurt. Yeah. And we had a plan through this whole thing. Everybody said, hey, you're trying to do the Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes deal. They're all different. And we wanted to make sure that we handled Justin. We knew that was our future. And we wanted to handle him and do everything we possibly could to make sure that he succeeded. Scheme, how we handle practices, everything. And it's just that was a unique situation with our quarterback room. They were all great. They handled it great. But, it just didn't go the way we wanted it to. And, again, you just learn from it.
Yeah. I just look back at it I just thought maybe you were under pressure. I got to develop this guy. My job's on the line. But maybe in the retrospect, maybe we weren't ready to put him out there and he wasn't ready to do it.
Again, these guys are so young, and when they're thrown into it, everybody thinks that it could just happen overnight. Right. They're going to play like they did in college. That's not real. Yeah. And so, when you're a coach and you go through your offense, your scheme, your players, you want to do everything you possibly can to make it easy for them to succeed, whatever that is. And we learn too as coaches. Yes. And so, you go back to the Cleveland Browns game, right? It was a really, really difficult game. I think there was 8 or 9 sacks. and it's not what we wanted for him, for Justin, right? We didn't want it for us. We didn't want it for Justin. The last thing you want is to hurt somebody's confidence, a young quarterback like we did that game. Yeah. No one wants that, for anybody. And so we needed to learn from that and be able to change some things in how we handled him. But you end up running out of time, and you also know that schematically, it just was a different situation.
A lot of people say with Justin that one of his weaknesses, I guess, is going through his progressions. And he had that in college, he has that in the pros. Do you see that as something that he's got to get better at, or can he get better at, or is that kind of overblown in your mind?
No, I would say this. I would say for where Justin was when he came in as a rookie with us, he was in a great place. He had a lot to learn. New offense, it's a new language. But all these guys do. I mean, with Patrick, we're still working through different concepts and plays and progressions of where he's at. I mean, this is Patrick. So these guys are young. They find concepts that they like, whether they're half-field reads, one-eye, two-eye, man zone, etc. There's so much growth that goes on, and he learned a new offense. He was a rookie again this year. He learned a whole new offense. So it's going to take time, but he's got all the tools. He's going to have a great future ahead of him, and because he wants it, he's very talented.